Hello guys, and welcome to this video. Apologies that it's a little bit later than I intended. I've just got a cold randomly, so my throat has been dying, as you can tell probably right now. So yeah, I am sorry about that, but here's the video, so enjoy. Alright guys, welcome to this video. In this one we will be showing you, well I will be showing you, the AI mechanics of all the enemy ships you encounter in the game. Well, at least most of them. I don't know all of them because I don't have access to all of them, but that's fine. I think the only one I don't have access to is the Phoenix actually, but I know what it does already. So you get the most basic ones, which are your Guardian and Sentinels, and then essentially, well, they work in pairs, sort of. They are kind of symbiotic, where they work together and help each other out, and I'll show you why. So essentially, when you move a battleship into the sector of a Guardian protected or Guardian infested sector, the Guardian will always be the first one to move before the Sentinel. It usually reacts immediately. Sometimes the Sentinels go first, which is weird, but in general practice, you always notice that the Guardian will go first. And in this case, it didn't matter. You will also notice that the Guardian is a little bit quicker than the Sentinel, so it's at 330 AUs per minute. And then if we look at the Sentinel, we have 300, so it's 30 AUs faster. But yeah, that's pretty straightforward, you know. You go into the sector, Guardians usually go first, Sentinels usually follow behind. The Guardians take all the damage while the Sentinels shred you. That's why you gotta be very careful, especially when you're just learning how to play the game, so you can maneuver yourself behind the Guardians or to a point where it wouldn't matter, so you can take out the Sentinels first or have access to the Sentinels so they don't shred you. But yes, these are the most basic ships, and then, yeah, we'll go on to the Interceptor. So the Interceptor is basically a ship, if you don't know this already, that can go through various different... It can go outside its own sector, basically, is the fundamental difference of this specific ship. So you can trigger it in two ways, and once you trigger it, it will follow you, or it will follow the closest enemy ship. But anyway, you can attack it even though you're not in its sector. If you attack it, it will trigger it, and just by stepping into the sector, you will trigger it, and it will follow you or whatever other player ship is the closest to it. So one troll trick that people used to do, and no longer is a thing, but I can show you, is that when people would go here, like for example, you trigger the Sentinel, it goes to you. When you start moving away from it, wherever you decide to move, it will follow that exact same path. So if I go here, I trigger it and do all the things. Let me just show you. I decide to go all the way over there. The Sentinel will actually follow. Yeah, this guy doesn't even care anymore. He's not panicking or anything. He's like, whatever. This is pretty cool. Although one thing I haven't figured out is, what happens if the battleship gets attacked by the Interceptor? Does it decide to say, oh, well, this guy is now shooting me, so he's a threat, or is it just going to keep ignoring the transports and miners? That I do not know for sure. I think I've seen both examples, but I could be wrong. Anyway, that's basically your Interceptor in a nutshell. They can be very annoying, especially later on when there's like 3 or 4 of them in a sector, so yeah, keep that in mind. And of course, they can also shoot multiple ships. They can shoot up to 4, I believe, with the current mass battery level, which is 5. Correct me if I'm wrong. You'll see that it won't do anything to the guy, though. He's completely fine. Oh no, he's not panicking. I guess he was sending his miner there. Let me test something. I'm actually curious. I don't know if you can actually trick the Interceptor. As you can see, though, it's not shooting any of his ships, so he's absolutely okay. Let's see if I can trick the Interceptor to going any further. Will it go? Will it go? Will it go? Nope. I actually don't know if I can trick it. I don't think I've ever tricked an Interceptor before. I can test it in a moment, though. Can you trick the Interceptor? No, it doesn't want to go. Okay, so I think I could probably trick the Interceptor to going to this asteroid. But no, it doesn't. Wow. I wonder, that is curious. I wonder why that is. I massacred them. No. What else? Everything is dead. God damn it. Okay, let me test this. I'm going to move this ship over here. I guess for some reason you can't trick the Interceptors. I don't know why. That's very weird. But you can trick every other ship for some reason, just not the Interceptors. But anyway, that took a massive tangent. I am sorry about that. We will go on to the next ship, which is the Colossus. Basically, Colossus kind of works like the Guardian. They have a very similar behavior pattern, but the primary difference is if there is more than one of them, the second one will have like a predetermined delay before it actually starts moving toward the sector to the enemy ship, so you basically. I've noticed this a couple times, so who knows? I can probably show you this again in this video, so yes. Alrighty, ladies and gents, I will be showing you exactly what a Colossus does when there's 2 of them. Assuming I can do the thing. I don't know if my shields are. My shields mostly healed? I guess so, yeah. I still remember when they buffed the passive shields. Jesus, I love that update. They are so much more useful than they used to be. Yep, they're all re-healed now, so that's good. So basically, I'm going to just send the ship just to show you. One Colossus, probably the center one. Maybe the closest Colossus is the first one to trigger, but I'm pretty sure the center one will be the one that will go after my ship here. And yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, so that's the first one to trigger. And then we have all the other ships, of course. Hold on. There you go, it finally triggered. If they're right next to each other, it would still be around the same delay time. And that's pretty much it. I know, crazy simple, right? Only if you already understand it is it crazy simple, and now you do, so there you go. Next, we'll be moving on to the bombers, and I decided to do this a little bit differently because, well, I was going to film it on a red star, but I didn't feel like doing a red star 7, so I did a bunch of blue stars because it ended up working out. And as you can see, it's a pain in the butt because there's like, at least when you're at my level and have my level of tech, it seems, not necessarily my overall level of 152, just overall like mod levels and so forth, you start to get a lot of bombers, and every blue star I was doing, I would be getting like 2 or 3 bombers or 4 all around the star, which made it such a pain in the butt. And as you can see here though, I'm heading straight for a bomber, and it's going to just it's just going to continue shooting missiles. I mean, I don't like these things, but it's not too crazy, but I still don't like them. Of course, if you don't know already how they work, you know, they send missiles to every adjacent sector and its own sector and every adjacent sector, and it will send multiple missiles if there are multiple players, either within the same sector or just in different areas altogether that are adjacent to where it is or within its own area. So yeah, I'm getting a random phone call. Gonna ignore that, but yeah. Essentially, when you go after them, they will run away from you and do all that annoying stuff, so there you go. Alright guys, now that I covered the bombers, there we go, brain is not working today, it's okay. I'm going to talk over Phoenixes. I don't really have access to them anymore because they were moved up to Red Star 8, which I still haven't gotten because I've been lazy and I haven't done the thing, so yeah. But anyway, Phoenixes, assuming they haven't been changed to how they used to work, is assuming they're in a sector, like let's say they're in this one, you know, has an area shield which overlaps into other adjacent sectors. So if I am over here and trying to kill these guys, it could be right over here or something like that, and has its shield covering all these ships. So if that's the case, you have to destroy the shield before you can destroy the ships. It doesn't trigger the ship, and the ship is not allowed to go into different sectors, but it is annoying when you're trying to kill a whole bunch of different ships. The easiest way to get rid of that is by using Alpha Rocket, or Omega Rocket, or the... what is the other rocket? There's 2. There's 3. There's Alpha Rocket, which is the run-of-the-mill. There is Delta Rocket, that's the other one, and then there's Omega Rocket, which most people probably won't have, but that's fine. Anyway, using a rocket will pretty much completely obliterate those shields in like 2 seconds, because, you know, instead of having to build up the damage and do it over time, it just does instantaneous like 1,000, 3,000, 4,000 damage per ship that's being covered by that shield. So there you go, the more you know. What they defaultly do, assuming you don't trigger them when, you know, and you go into their sector and so forth or attack them, is they patrol the outer rim of their sector. They go around in circles, and basically, essentially, that's just to be annoying and overlap their shield into other enemy ships so that you can't blow them up immediately. But yeah, that's essentially all it does. It has dual lasers, so if you're gonna go blow it up, make sure you are careful, because unlike single lasers, if there is at least 2 targets there to be shot at, it will continue to build up charge until it just hurts a crap ton. So yeah, but anyway, that's the brief overview of how all these different ships work. But before I forget, I'll cover destroyers quickly. They basically, you know, they go to a planet. I think it's randomly selected, but they always go for the highest tier first, and then they have a countdown timer and they blow up. And I guess the only thing that to note about these is they have a modified vengeance module where if it blows up a planet, it also deals explosive damage to all surrounding players within this red circle. Now, if you also blow it up, it also deals that damage. So if it blows up a planet or you blow it up, you know, it will deal that vengeance damage. The other thing to note, though, is when it blows up a planet, it doesn't get destroyed. It just keeps going, but it does deal that vengeance damage within that ring. Also, to keep in mind, that ring is smaller than your actual weapon range. I think it's only 100 AUs when your weapon range is 120. So if you time it just right, you can theoretically get it to the edge of its life just before leaving that circle. And then once you leave it, you will deal the final killing shot and you get dealt 0 explosive damage. But yes, that is all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, do all those good things, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye!